Did you know that the fastest street legal motorcycle can reach 218 miles per hour? That's not a race bike, not a prototype. That's a machine you can actually register and ride on public roads. But raw speed alone doesn't tell the full story. Some of these bikes feel calm at high pace, others fight you every second. Tonight, we break down the top 15 fastest street legal motorcycles, covering real top speed, engine specs, rider fit, and what they actually cost to own. Number 15, Lightning LS218, a silent rocket with unreal speed. There is no clutch lever work, no shifting drama, just clean thrust that keeps building until your brain says enough. Lightning claims it exceeds 218 miles per hour, and the pull feels shocking and brutal at speed once it is moving. Because it is electric, the drivetrain stays simple, and routine service can feel easier than most hyperbikes. You still watch tires and brake pads, but the usual vibration and thermal mess is mostly finished. Ergos are pure sport bikes, so your chest takes wind, your wrists work, and long stints are not its comfort priority. Think tight seat, bent knees, and a low screen, which can feel sporty and tiring on rough roads. One rider shared, fastest production bike in the world with a direct drive system. New pricing starts around $38,988, and that price jump is very costly. Secondhand bikes are scarce, so listings pop up randomly, and buying needs swift decisions with cash ready. And the real catch is range, because hard pulls drain quickly, making planning feel stressful and risky on unknown routes. Charging depends on your outlet, so we plan stops, keep a buffer, and avoid stranded panic today. A cheap adapter kit feels smart and secure in our truck. If we ride it like a missile for short blasts, it can feel reliable, modern, and special in our garage. Next up, we go back to gas power, because the supercharged bike is louder, meaner, and pure trouble. Number 14, Kawasaki Ninja H2. We hit the button and the world goes quiet. Then the boost turns into unreal trouble. The Kawasaki Ninja H2 brings supercharged power with a strong shove that feels like the road got shorter. Top speed is tested around 183 miles per hour, and that is actual, not a parking lot legend. It uses a 998cc inline 4 with a blower, so the pull stays solid and keeps building when other bikes get stressed. Curb weight is about 524.8 pounds, so low-speed moves can feel heavy, but rolling pace turns light and steady. In a straight line, it feels stable and surging, but in tight turns, the weight demands respect. So choose clean lines and give the brakes room. Seat height is about 32.5 inches, and the posture is sporty without being torture. It is still a forward lean, so wrists can get loaded and tiring on long blasts without brakes. New money starts around $34,400, and that is premium, but the hardware is special. Used prices run from $13,999 to $37,999, a range that feels chaotic. Many listings commonly sit around $23,599, which can look steep until you feel that supercharged shove. Heat and traffic can feel brutal, and insurance quotes can get serious, because this bike lives near superbike territory. If you want the same speed with more upright leverage, the next pick keeps it swift and feels more street. If you ever rolled on and felt your stomach drop, hit like, this supercharged thrill is medicine right now, buddy. Number 13, BMW M1000R. Some bikes chase headline speed, but this one mixes swift pace with street sense. The BMW feels clean and composed when you are cruising, then it snaps to attention when you twist. Peak speed is reported around 174.5 miles per hour, and the inline 4 is about 1,293 cubic centimeters, so passing pull stays strong and steady. The riding triangle leans sport tourer with legroom and a calmer reach, so longer stints feel human instead of hurting. At highway pace, it feels planted and predictable, which lets you enjoy speed without that white-knuckle panic in gusty wind. It is not sold new anymore, so the secondhand market is the whole game, and that is where smart value shopping matters. One writer said, "It's light, so easy to move around at slow speeds." Listings can run from about $3,911 up to $31,530, so the range is massive. Many clean riders land around $14,995, but documented history and trim make the jump feel chaotic. The downside is simple. Parts and service can feel pricey, and a small tip over can become a shopping cart of pieces. Still, when the chassis is dialed, the bike stays stable at speed and feels confident on rough highway seams. If you like this muscled pull with a grown-up stance, the next Italian Naked shows up with slingshot urgency and no mercy. Number 12, Ducati Streetfighter V4S. A naked bike should not feel this feral, yet this Ducati hits with brutal power from the first crack. The Streetfighter V4S is a superbike heart in a street suit, and it feels shocking and savage once it hooks. Listed speed is commonly shown around 186 miles per hour, and the V4 thrust feels endless when you keep it pinned. You sit behind wide bars instead of clip-ons, which keeps control more simple on real roads, even when the bike wants to run. Brakes and chassis feel focused and precise, staying stable over choppy pavement when your hands are calm and light. Still, there is no big fairing, so wind blast is heavy, and your neck works harder at highway pace. New price is about $29,295, and that is premium money for a naked machine. Used prices run from about $20,999 up to $47,995, so the market feels spread and confusing. Many listings commonly sit around $29,294, and the value looks better if you ride it hard, not just stare at it. The light negative is town heat because the rear cylinders bake you, and slow traffic feels stressful and brutal. If you love this naked thrill but want more wind cover and trip range, the next bike stays swift and feels human. Want actual speed without buying regrets? Hit like and subscribe so our next picks stay useful for you right now. Number 11. KTM 1290 Super Duke GT. Now we trade naked chaos for touring armor, but the punch stays violent and the pace stays swift. The KTM 1290 Super Duke GT feels like a missile with a windscreen, and it stays stable when the road gets rutted. Peak speed is noted around 162 miles per hour, and it gets there with calm bodywork that keeps you focused. The V-twin is the 1290 class motor, about 1,301 cc, and the torque feels thick and immediate. Ergonomics are upright sport tour, so knees feel spacious, shoulders feel relaxed, and we can ride longer before we feel tired. With cruise and luggage, it turns swift travel into relaxed distance, and that blend feels uncommon when you ride all day. Top speed of KTM 1290 Super Duke GT. New price is about $21,499, and used examples run from $7,594 to $20,299, so the range is broad. Many listings sit around $13,999, which makes the value feel strong if the bike is cared for. The light negative is attitude, because low gear throttle can feel intense and jittery on a chill day in town. Still, when you want to cover ground swift, the fairing and luggage turns speed into something useful for real miles. If this feels too modern, the next pick is classic hyperbike energy, heavy on the scale and still swift on top. Number 10, Kawasaki Ninja ZX14R. Picture a clean highway pull where the front goes light, your gut drops, and the bike stays smooth and stable anyway. The ZX14R delivers a missile launch, then stacks speed in a quiet, controlled rush. Tested top speed is about 185.1 miles per hour, and the chassis feels planted through the last part of the climb. Power comes from an inline 4 around 1,441 cubic centimeters, making passing feel simple and certain. Curb weight is about 593.1 pounds, so it feels solid on the freeway, but heavy when you are walking it around. On long runs, the wind load is noticeable, but the motor stays relentless and the controls feel predictable today. The roomy Hypersport layout keeps your legs less folded, so long stints feel friendlier and steadier than most full Supersports. Seat height is about 31.5 inches, and the reach to the bars is sensible and manageable once you settle in. New bikes are often a leftover buy what is left situation, so pricing can feel messy depending on where you shop. Used examples can run from about $1,999 to $20,799, with many listings near $10,000, which is a sharp deal for this kind of speed. The light negative is real, parking lots feel heavy, and heat plus insurance can get serious fast. If you want longer miles with European polish and shaft drive, the next pick feels refined and ready. Number 9, BMW K1300S. Slide over to this one and you get refined speed that feels planted and stable when the wind starts bullying you. The K1300S was built for distance, so the pace feels effortless and composed at real highway numbers. Reported top speed is about 174.5 miles per hour, and it pulls there with a smooth, controlled surge. The inline 4 is about 1,293 cc, with mid-range drive that feels strong and predictable. Ergonomics lean sport tourer, so your torso stays upright, and your wrists feel lighter than a pure superbike. Shaft drive keeps upkeep simple, and the fairing makes high-speed air feel calmer, even when the weather turns uglier. It is not sold new anymore, which means shopping is all about service history and honest condition. Exhaust sound of BMW K 1300S. Used pricing can run from about $3,911 to $31,530, with many around $14,995 for clean, cared-for examples. Here's the catch. Age means rubber, sensors, and neglected fluids can turn a bargain into costly drama. The upside is that when it is right, the bike feels stable, quiet, and almost effortless at speed. Next, we switch to a power cruiser that sits low, feels comfortable, and still moves like a slingshot. Tap like and subscribe if you would rather ride swift than pay for costly surprises at the shop later. Number 8, Ducati Diavel V4. Low seat, wide bar, and a motor that hits so violently it feels shocking the first time you twist it. The Diavel V4 delivers brutal passing power, yet the response stays clean and confident when you crack it open. Reported top speed is about 155 miles per hour, yet the rush feels savage because it arrives so quickly. The V4 power cruiser setup is tuned to pull hard across the range, so you're not waiting for some tiny peak. Ergonomics is the secret sauce. Feet forward, low seat, and a relaxed reach that keeps your knees happy and your shoulders loose. That low seat helps confidence at stops, yet the bike still feels stable, muscular, and surprisingly neutral in corners too. New price is about $28,995, which is premium money for a street-legal missile. Used examples can run about $21,999 to $40,409, with many around $30,990, depending on trim and extras. The light negative is tires. That rear hoop disappears quickly and replacement bills feel pricey. Wind blast is also present at speed, so long highway time can feel noisy and tiring without a screen. Still, for riders past 45 who want speed without the wrist torture, it feels friendly and strong. Next up is a giant engine monster that surprises people in real pulls, even when the numbers look normal. Number 7, Triumph Rocket 3-Storm GT. When you want a grown-up ride position but refuse to give up that chest hit, this one delivers torque in a thick, confident wave. The Rocket 3-Storm GT feels peaceful in the saddle, then goes brutal the moment you roll on. If your buddy thinks speed means top end, one roll on proves the point, and it feels absurd and hilarious today. Measured top speed is about 138.781 miles per hour, and the real thrill is how quick it feels from normal road speed. The engine is a massive triple around 2,458 cc, so the pull stays strong and endless without needing high drama. Seat height is about 29.9 inches, and that low stance makes stops feel secure and manageable. Ergonomics are relaxed and planted, so your hips stay relaxed and your knees stay calmer than on most speed machines. Pricing spans a wide range, roughly $7,995 to $29,999, with most listings around $20,005. The light negative is weight, tight spots feel heavy, and slow turns can feel awkward if you rush it. Fuel and rear tire. Appetite can also feel serious when you ride it as you stole it. Still, the character is addictive. It feels smooth, thick, and strangely civil for something this strong. Next, we go back to a sharp superbike that tests your bravery and pulse with speed that feels absolutely unreal right now. Number 6, Ducati XDiavel V4. Think low seat, long wheelbase, and a motor that feels sharp, savage, and civil instantly. The V4 spins with a clean response, and the roll-on stays smooth and predictable when we keep it sane. Top speed is about 155 miles per hour, and the passing shove can feel brutal. Ergonomics are feet forward and relaxed, so knees feel happy while the wide bar keeps control secure. New money is $28,995, and used runs $21,999 to $40,409. Premium today. Rarity. Heat and fuel use sting in town when traffic turns frustrating and heated. Calm throttle keeps it controlled, yet it turns savage fast. It delivers luxury, peaceful speed you can ride all day without a race tuck. Next, we keep the pace but trade cruiser posture for an upright daily machine that feels human. Tap like if that V4 shove felt savage, then subscribe and comment which power cruiser you'd ride tomorrow. Right now, buddy. Number 5. BMW S1000XR. Ever ride a bike that feels like a sport motor got bolted into a tall, upright, ready package? This one pulls strong, stays stable, and still lets our wrists feel relieved at legal speeds most days. BMW quotes over 155 miles per hour, and real roll-on feels swift and clean easily. Underneath is a powerful 999cc inline-4, making about 170 horsepower, packed into a compact 500 pounds. Ergonomics is our sport adventure. Seat height sits around 33.5 inches, and the bar reach feels roomy and spacious. New pricing starts around $17,495, and used examples land mid-teens and climb with pricey, loaded options. Wind protection depends on screen setup, so the wrong shield can feel noisy and annoying. Dial it in, and it becomes a mile eater that feels secure, capable, and very human. Quick comment, which bike would you actually buy, and which looks tempting but feels excessive for your riding today? Number 4. MV Agusta Superveloce 1000. Sometimes speed is not just numbers, it is style, drama, and that exotic stare at the gas stop. This Superveloce feels like a sculpture, yet it runs serious, exotic speed when it wakes up. Top speed is quoted over 300 kilometers per hour, over 186 miles per hour, and it sounds truly euphoric. The core is a 998cc inline-4 packed with premium, engineered details. It rewards careful upkeep, detailed attention. Ergonomics are sporty and committed, so wrists feel tense and the seat demands patience. New money for the 𝐏𝐄𝐑 version is about $80,098, and used bikes stay scarce and expensive quietly. Ownership asks planning and support, because waiting on parts can feel stressful. Still, it is a special trophy you ride on pristine nights, not commutes. Next, we go American and gritty, with a V-twin that feels quick and honest. Number 3. EBR 1190R 𝐏𝐄𝐑. There is something satisfying about an American superbike that feels gritty and uncommon forever. The V-twin hits strong, stays sharp, and makes every shift feel urgent. Quarter-mile traps show 140 miles per hour, and the charge feels brutal and violent. It feels lighter than it looks, yet stable, solid. Specs sit around 1,190cc, with a chassis that feels compact and focused. Ergonomics are tighter than a Tour, but small bar and seat tweaks make it livable and secure. New sales are scarce, so used shopping needs careful eyes and service notes. Used prices run $6,799 to $18,900, with a typical, realistic spot at $11,985. Parts hunting can be frustrating and tedious, so patience becomes part of the deal always. Next is a nostalgic muscle bike with V4 swagger that hits savage. Number 2. Yamaha VMAX. This is bike energy, brutal, heavy, and addictive from the first throttle crack. The 1,679cc V4 hits strong and thunderous, then keeps pulling like it is. Top speed sits around 150 miles per hour, and the roll-on feels shocking. Ergonomics stay lowish and roomy, more bruiser than racer, and the chassis feels solid and stable in a straight line, surprisingly. There is no new stock now, so used shopping must be smart and careful. Used prices range from $6,495 to $29,900, and the realistic cluster sits around $14,000. Fuel thirst is severe, and range planning can feel frustrating and grueling on long days. When the road opens, the bike feels powerful and composed, but the weight is present. Next, we go nostalgic and dangerous, with an old-school Kawasaki that once terrified the speed wars. Smash like if that VMAX roll-on felt brutal, then comment your worst fuel bill and your favorite highway pull. Number 1. Kawasaki Ninja ZX12R. Born in the speed wars, and it still feels nostalgic, fearsome, and almost illegal. That wheelbase stays stable and composed when crosswinds and seams try to start a wobble. Top speed is about 187 miles per hour, and the pull is brutal once it gets breathing. The inline-4 is roughly 1,199cc with smooth, relentless drive that keeps stacking MPH in every gear. Ergonomics are old school and roomy for a superbike, so knees get space and wrists do not feel tortured after an hour. You cannot buy it new anymore, so used prices usually land between $4,500 and $14,000, with clean cared-for examples hovering near $9,000. The catch is age, because dried hoses, tired tires, and stale fluids can turn this legend into something dangerous. Before we chase numbers, we check chain tension, steering head feel, and brake lines for secure, predictable control. Fresh suspension setup keeps high-speed feel predictable. Set up right, It is a classic rocket that still feels special and fast. Ignore it, and it becomes expensive excitement with shaky confidence. Click the next video for more swift, street-legal speed talk that stays practical. Then subscribe so you do not miss the next smart breakdown. Quick question: what is your best highway pulling story? Or which bike would you ride tomorrow?